everybody. How are you? I wanted to come and talk to you just for a few minutes. I was just sharing with some of my leaders, and I thought that it might be helpful for you as well. But I worked through a process this weekend, and I had been asked, what do I do when life brings disappointment or life brings difficulties? Like, what do I do through that process? And it was such a great question. It really made me kind of sit back. In fact, I sat back, I paused for a moment whenever I was asked that. And I was like, what do I do? And the Lord was like, you pause. And you know, it's interesting because, for several years now, I have really been working through just what it looks like to be holistically healthy. I mean, spiritually, physically, mentally. It's really important to me. And for any of us, I think that if you know that you have a purpose, that you have a calling, we all do, and you know that there's more in you, that you have potential, I think that we really do need to work through what does it look like to be able to live in a healthy way, to where when we are hit with difficulties and disappointments, we don't get taken out of the game. And for years and years, I did. For years, if something happened, if I got something negative or somebody responded in a way that was judgmental or jealous or questioning what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, I would immediately kind of spiral whenever I got those hardships and those difficulties. And just the disappointments of people. We all disappoint each other. I have probably disappointed you at some point in my life because we just do it. We don't mean to. Some people might. I know that I don't. But I know that people disappoint me. But usually it's because I've set an expectation on them that most probably nobody can meet, right? We set expectations on other people that they just can't meet. But we get disappointed through the process. So anyway, being asked the question and sitting back, the Lord said, you do, Melissa, yes, pause. And he gave me this beautiful acronym, and I wanted to share it with you. And so pause stands for pray, acknowledge, untangle, seek and serve. And then the last is embrace and energize. And I just love that because so often when something comes and we're disappointed or we have just a heavy, difficult time, we immediately, I always say that we go horizontal, right? Like we go to the people that are out here versus going vertical. And God calls us to go vertical. He says, pray. That pray turns into praise. And that praise is where that battle is won and there is victory set because it also prepares us. It prepares the way. Jesus is our warrior. And so coming before him and being prayerful in it and just starting that process. And the second is acknowledge. Acknowledge that you've been disappointed. I think so many times we get oppressed, not only by an outward situation that has happened to us possibly, but because we try to cover it up and move on and we're strong enough and we don't need to feel that emotion. We just got to keep on going, right? I think women and mamas do that a lot. But when we do that, it's actually more harmful than it is helpful. And so acknowledging that pain to the Lord, not to others, because a lot of times when we acknowledge it to others, we want them to side with us, right? We want them, as soon as you acknowledge to someone else that you've been hurt or that there's been disappointment, you literally have set them up to have to choose. And that's just not right. It's not right to basically put a person in a position to have to choose. And so when we acknowledge, if we will go to the Lord in that acknowledgement, because honestly, through that process of acknowledgement, we start a process of even forgiveness, acknowledging to the Lord how it made us feel, how it hurt us, how it brought maybe negative thoughts or past failures to the forefront and ridding that in some way. So acknowledging, quieting our heart, acknowledging to him what is going on and how we feel like we've been defeated in that process is such a really big piece. And then the next is the U of pause, which is untangle and undo. And I love this so much because I think it makes me have a visual of somebody just roping me in, right? And just like totally to where I can't move. I can't go forward. I can't go backwards. I might fall over, right? We might fall. And we have to get unwrapped and untangled. We have to undo what just happened in those moments. And so that untangling is a process that we have to go through. And I love what Hebrews 12, 1 through 3 says. And this is from the Passion Translation, which I absolutely love. But it says, we must let go of every wound that pierced us and the sin we so easily fall into. Then we will be able to run life's marathon race with passion and determination, for the path has already been marked out before us. So that untangling is a really important piece. And I think that whenever we skip over that, we're just like, okay, I just got hit with disappointment. I feel really icky. I have all these adjectives and words to describe what that means. And I'm really angry at the situation or at the person, but I'm just going to move on. And whenever we do that, we actually harm ourselves. We harm ourselves in the process, and we really set ourselves up to possibly get burned out, to quit, and to not be able to move forward. So it's super important that you do that. And then the S is to seek his wisdom and to serve his people. You know, scripture says that we're created to know God and to know his people, to love God and to love his people. And whenever we've been hit with disappointment, we oftentimes immediately turn inward, right? That is just that's a natural instinct for us to do. And that is a good instinct to do if you are pausing to pray, acknowledge, and untangle. Because when you go through that process, which is a very healthy process, whenever you begin to actually look up and look out at his people from a standpoint of serving his people, it is actually a natural process of helping our minds download what is going on, help us process what we're in, but at the same time as we're serving other people, we're being so blessed. We're being so blessed. So working through that. And then the last is to embrace and to energize. And I love this, to be able to really come back. It's bringing us back into an alignment, embracing whose we are and what we've been called to do, embracing truths and letting him speak over our lives, not the world, not disappointment, not negative thoughts, negative comments, negative responses, but embracing that we are a daughter of the King, a child of God. And being able to see that and see that he created us and he has purposed us with his plans, that he has made a way for us. It just re-energizes us to be able to go out with passion to do the work that he has called us to do. And so I hope that that has been helpful, because it sets you up, it realigns you to where you can use your energy in positive ways, in good ways, so that your passion can actually be refueled instead of like totally emptied out, and you begin to question and doubt the work that you're doing and why you're doing it. So resetting yourself in that manner, knowing that you are fully equipped for the plans that he has already prepared for you. So I hope that that was helpful. Whenever you're hit with difficulties, disappointments, make sure that you pause, pray, acknowledge, untangle, seek and serve, embrace and energize. I hope you guys are having a fantastic Monday, and I'll talk to you soon.